Welcome back to more of Kaleidoscope today. The National MS Society Ohio Buckeye Chapter just completed a series of walks to benefit the organization, and Communications Manager Bridget Andrews and its Ambassador Patti Substelny are here to talk about the impact of multiple sclerosis on families. They will also discuss programs and services offered by the organization. Bridget Andrews and Patti Substelny, good to have you both here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bridget, you're Communications Manager for National MS Society, the Ohio Buckeye Chapter.
Correct.
What is multiple sclerosis?
Multiple sclerosis is a disease that affects the central nervous system. What happens is the body actually attacks itself, and the body attacks the myelin, which is the surrounded coating that surrounds the nerves that go from the brain to the body, and then also the spinal cord. What happens is sclerosis appears, and sclerosis inhibits the transmission of messages from the brain to the body.
I understand. And we've got with us also Patti Substelny. You're the MS Ambassador.
Yes, sir.
What's it mean to be the MS Ambassador?
Well, it's a couple of things. Really, it's bringing awareness to the community, both on a local and national level, about what MS is and what people can do to help fight against MS.
And you have it. So how are you doing with it?
I'm doing fairly well. MS is one of these diseases that you have good days and bad days. And unfortunately, you can't predict when you're going to have good days and bad days.
When you talk to people about it, you explain the symptoms and all of that, and what else do you tell people, the things that they need to know about multiple sclerosis?
Well, not only do I explain about how it affects me, but how it could affect other people, and more importantly, what people out there that can do to help fight MS, even if they don't have MS, or maybe know somebody at work who has MS, and what people can do.
And that's one of the reasons you had the walks recently during the month of April. Tell me about those walks and what happens as a result of the walks and the campaigns like that.
Well, we just finished our walks through the month of April. We had 13 total surrounding the Ohio Buckeye Chapter, which covers 36 counties. Yesterday, we had 5 different walks in our major metropolitan areas: Cleveland, Columbus, Akron, Massillon, and Menor. So these walks are very essential into raising funds for the National Multiple Sclerosis Society.
When you talk about this affects entire families. If somebody in the family has it, you would agree with that,
absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
What happens when families need this kind of information? What does your MS Society do for that family?
Well, the National MS Society does provide local programs and services for people with multiple sclerosis. First and foremost, we do provide educational information in learning about multiple sclerosis and getting the correct information about the disease. We also provide some great programs at the National MS Society. Some that are very popular are our retreats, our young adult retreats. MS affects people in the prime of their life, so in between their 20s and 50s. And so these retreats are very important for the National MS Society and those who have MS.
How do you speak to that a little bit, about the family involvement in all of that?
Well, I think that, with every one person that is diagnosed with MS, there's 5 or 10 other people who are affected by it. I myself can speak about my husband and my mother and all my friends, and we kind of are fighting it together. I have a group of friends that have developed a bicycle team. One of the other main events that the MS Society sponsors is a bike ride. And so I have a group of friends who've banded together, 30 people who are riding 150 miles and raising money for MS. And I don't know if they would have done that had they not known somebody with MS.
So it helps to get the information out, and that's the role of the ambassador.
Yes,
which
sir.
is the role that you're playing. Let me put a telephone number on the screen, and we want to talk a little bit about some of the symptoms of multiple sclerosis, if we can. Let me put a telephone number on the screen. As you see, ladies and gentlemen, it is 800-667-7131. That's 800-667-7131, or you can go to msohiobuckeye.org, msohiobuckeye, one word, .org, and get more information on everything that we've been talking about. Symptoms.
Well, Patti would know a lot of the symptoms as well, but symptoms can be very unpredictable, and that's one of the problems with multiple sclerosis, that MS stops people from moving, and our organization, the National MS Society, exists to make sure it doesn't. Symptoms can range from numbness and tingling in the body, It can also be as severe as blindness and paralysis. So it can range from, excuse me, one spectrum to the other side. So
we're about down to our last minute or so. Any final thoughts you want to leave us with, Patti Substelny, as we talk about your job as the ambassador and we talk about this whole thing about MS?
The main point I would have to say is join the movement. You know, get out there, understand what MS is, that it's a disease separate from others, and that we've made advances recently in the research, which is, you know, a huge deal with MS. Be involved. If you see accessibility issues in your area for a wheelchair, make note of it. Talk to your local government and see if the accessibility issue can be addressed. Understand that people who may be in a wheelchair who are younger, or maybe in a walker who are younger, this might be their ailment.
So get out and get that information and certainly help and join the MS movement.
Join the movement.
Yeah, you would agree with that. 800-667-7131. We appreciate Bridget Andrews, who's Communications Manager for the National MS Society, Ohio Buckeye Chapter, for coming by, and for Patti Substelny, who's the MS Ambassador for the National MS Society, Ohio Buckeye Chapter, for coming by. Thank you for coming by.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Okay. Be well, and I hope today's a good day for you.
It is a good day.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll log on to newsnet5.com each week to see what's coming up on Kaleidoscope. Coming up next, Walking to Help Children. This is Kaleidoscope.